I wanted to share a story with you about the ending of my marriage with a extremely covert narcissistic man. Now, this was back in 2008, but I came across a post today on social media that I was like, oh my God, it hit home and it inspired me to share the story with you. Now, narcissistic relationships are one of the many different types of environments that cause a significant amount of stress, both emotionally and energetically. And that stress manifests into illness over time. And in this marriage with my ex-husband, I had all sorts of illnesses and symptoms, and every single one of them resonated with the trauma and the stress from the marriage. And throughout this marriage, I made so many attempts to financially support myself because I knew I wanted to get a divorce and I wanted to be able to support myself and my boys and just live my best life because I was so unhappy in this marriage. It was just awful. And I remember towards the last couple of years, of course, he knew I was trying to make the best of myself, become something better, get out from underneath his thumb. So it didn't matter what I did, he would tell me I couldn't do it. And he'd say things like, well, you're never going to make the money I make, and you're never going to be able to support the boys. You really think you're going to get a job that makes salary? That's never going to happen. You haven't done anything for 9 years. You've just been spending my money in our marriage, which is not true. He made all sorts of false accusations to instill a significant amount of fear and self-doubt, and it worked. I stayed in this marriage for 9 years. And what happened is at the end of this marriage, I decided to go ahead and take that leap of faith. But my biggest goal that I was so proud of when I was able to achieve it, was to just make enough money to pay my bills and get a small apartment so that I could just get away and start over fresh. And I was like, if I could just find a small apartment, that would be perfect. So in 2008, now this photo is one I found off the internet, but it looks exactly like the apartment that I was in. I did get a divorce and I was making $11.33 working at freaking Bath and Body Works. And I was absolutely ecstatic to have this apartment, and it looked exactly like this. I had the mattress on the floor, I had a dresser on the corner, and when I bought bedroom furniture for my boys, of course, I had to put it on the credit card. I was flat broke, zero money. But what I love about this is this was my dream at the time. I wanted to have a small apartment and I wanted to have a small income so that I could just pay my bills and just get by. But what I realized while living in this apartment is that I was talking to myself the way he was talking to me, and I was giving myself the bare minimum, and I was calling that a dream. So when I realized this and I started healing how I spoke to myself, I noticed right away my physical illnesses started healing too, which validated it was all stress. My thyroid issues, gone. My weight, gone. I lost my weight. My migraines, gone. My dental issues, my TMJ, my really sore chronic pain in the neck, chronic pain in my shoulder, my chronic fatigue, my mind fog, gone. I was reconditioning my mind to think in a mindset of power and personal strength. And I tapped into that. And that's when I noticed the changes. And what's so amazing is it also taught me gratitude. Even though I had this little apartment and this little job making $11 an hour, I was grateful for it, which allowed more to come to me because I wasn't putting my attention on less. I was putting my attention on having more. But here's what's so amazing. When I was in my bank with my salary paid position and my desk and my suit and all my fancy things, I was like, something's still missing. I'm still living bare minimum. And I continued to talk to myself in power. And even though I didn't know what my dream was, I really didn't, you guys. I had no idea what my dream was. I just knew banking wasn't my dream. I now, for 8 years, have been self-employed, supporting myself off my own business as a spiritual guidance coach and a medical health intuitive, looking into people's energy and reading their energy and helping them do the same thing that I did. Find their strength, learn from it, recondition their behaviors and their thinking so they can live in their personal power and manifest their best life. So what's really happening when someone, especially a narcissist, absolutely with a narcissist, when they're looking at you and they're telling you, you can't do this and you'll never be able to do that, and don't even think about doing this because I do it better. What they're really doing is they're telling you what they're afraid of in you because they don't want that to come out, because what that's going to do is make them have to level up and be stronger, and they don't have the ability to level up. So instead of being ready to level up, they just talk you down and they stay the same. So whenever there's someone in your life telling you that you can't, just know that they're actually seeing 100% that you can. They just don't want you to. And that's where and why you level up, because when you level up, it makes them uncomfortable. They self-select out, which is a blessing, because when toxic people who can't support you when you're kicking ass, they'll self-select out, and it makes space for the real people who will support you and love you for leveling up and kicking ass.